Hi, I'm Bart Hanson, the owner and operator of CrushLivePoker.com. The following hand comes from our call-in show that we record at 4:45 p.m. Pacific Time every Monday. If you want to call in your hand, check out the phone number in the description. All right, we're going to wrap things up here with, I believe this is going to be Dave in New York.
Yes, it is.
What's going on, man?
I thought I just played like an extra long session. It was Monday already.
Oh yeah, like I said, I don't know if you caught the beginning of the show, but I'm doing a direct buy-in to day 2 tomorrow. Probably gonna play the circuit event next week, so the call-in show you're gonna have to watch for updates, and then the week after that I'm in Costa Rica. I'm flying out Monday morning, so I know that the call-in show will be that Sunday. But
Okay. Well, good luck with everything.
thanks.
This is toward the end, so I'll try to do this quickly.
Okay.
510, 1500 effective.
Borgata. Right.
Borgata, yes.
Yep.
Villain is a middle-aged, boisterous guy. I have no experience with him, but the regs on the table knew who he was.
Okay.
Based on some conversations, I think he might be more of a 10 and a quarter player, just waiting for a seat.
Okay.
In a previous hand, he 3-bet over a raise and a caller with ace-king. The flop came jack high. He c-bet, got raised on the flop, called the raise. Turn went check on a blank brick river. He bets. The opponent calls, and they both showed down ace-king and split the pot.
Okay.
The opponent was also a 10 and a quarter player, so they may have some history together and why that hand played out like that.
Okay.
He also 5-bet a good reg that 4-bet his 3-bet.
Okay.
The 4-bet was a bluff, so he folded. I didn't get to see what he had there, but he seems to be 3-betting often. It's too early in the session to know whether he's just getting a lot of hands or whether he's that aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now the hand. Villain, this guy opens under the gun plus 2, actually limps under the gun plus 2. It folds to the button, who's the weaker player on the table.
Yep.
He raises to 40.
Mm-hmm.
And since the button is kind of the weakest player, Hero decides to call on the big blind with queen.
Just call?
Right.
So everybody's 1500 effective?
Well, 1500 is my stack. I have the button covered, and the villain in the hand covers me.
Why? I don't know. I mean, just right off the bat, that doesn't seem like the type of hand from out of position that I want to trap with, especially when a limper is going to come in almost always behind me. You know what I mean? I mean, if the button's a weak player, why not just make it like 120 so that he'll call and then just play accordingly?
That should have been my line.
Queen, yeah, I mean, it's just, again, like I'm certainly in a little bit of a tournament mode where I'm trying to protect my equity in the pot, but even, I mean, whatever. I mean, I've played 2 sessions of 5-10 over the weekend here too, so I just, I don't see myself flying with queen. So, but you flat with queen, and then the limper comes in too?
Yeah, we'll see how many mistakes I can make in this hand.
Okay.
So how many fingers you got? You ready?
So the limper calls too?
Yeah. The villain does not call. The villain 3-bets.
Oh, he limp re-raises.
Limp re-raises.
Okay.
To 175.
By the way, if your plan was that you thought that this guy was going to limp re-raise, then it's a genius play, but it didn't sound like that.
Correct.
Yeah.
I didn't. No, that was not my thoughts.
Yeah.
The button folds.
Okay.
Very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
I call.
Okay.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
See how many fingers you still have. 1 finger up for mistakes. You got 2 fingers up for mistakes.
No, I mean, I think that I mean, at this point, back raising with queen is probably gonna be very, very strong. Where I think it's fine to call now. You know, pot's 400.
What's the plan now on the flop, turn, and river?
Well, it depends on what comes out.
Assuming that you have a fairly clean board.
Mm-hmm.
Is it leading out on each street? Is it check calling each street?
I don't think you lead out. I mean, it's tough to know what a guy's like limp re-raising range is here because you don't see it that often, right? You don't really see a limp re-raise all that often. But it seems like you're playing this hand very, very weakly for deception. So you would
Hmm.
just kind of continue to play it weakly. Now the problem sometimes with playing this hand weakly is that queens are vulnerable to just even like random, idiot double barrels like king five suited and then hits a king at the end and it goes check check, right? You know what I
Right.
mean? But to be consistent with the line, yeah, you're probably gonna go check call, and then see what the guy does on the turn. And then, if it gets checked through on the flop or checked back on the turn, you put a value bet in at the end.
Okay. I did something different.
Okay.
So the flop comes out 6-6-4, two spades. I do not have the queen of spades.
Okay.
So 390,
hmm
and I decide to lead 275.
I mean, here's the thing. The only reason why this might accidentally work for you, but I don't know what kind of caliber of player this is. So this is almost the same type of. See, you would never really be in a situation where you'd have some like young kid that's really good be in this spot because limp re-raising, you know, you just wouldn't see it really. Unless there was some specific reason why the guy was trying to limp re-raise some idiot from behind. So it's tough to like imagine. But I will say that occasionally you can actually accidentally play this hand fast where a guy who's very aware would be like, what does this guy have? Your hand looks like pocket sevens, pocket eights. I'm going to blow him off the hand. You know what I mean? And the problem
Right.
here is I know nothing about this guy, but if I played the hand the way that you're playing it, I would find it very difficult to fold because your line looks so much like shit to me. No, it just means your hand looks vulnerable to me. When is the last time that you saw a guy a guy flat the button, call a limp re-raise, and lead out on a 6-4-6 board with a strong hand? I mean, your hand almost looks like it's like probably like tens or nines at the stronger portions, occasionally queens. I'd be shocked. I mean, occasionally jacks. I would have been shocked if it was queens. But it's in that
Right.
eights to tens range, sevens to tens range. And I might just play like, I might just be like, fuck this guy. Like, I'm gonna put a ton of pressure on him. You know what I mean? If I was in your opponent's spot. So for
Right.
that reason, if I was playing against a good player and I played your line like this, I'd find it very difficult to fold now. But you might get a lot of calls from ace highs and stuff or people that might float you, you know.
Right.
So
And
you
he did just call, which
okay.
surprised me. I really expected a raise there.
So
And I
you
was
were
kind
gonna
of,
bet and then call a raise off?
yes,
You were. That was your intention?
that was my intention.
You thought that he was gonna be bluffing the flop a fair amount?
I thought there was a good possibility he would, based on the way he played the ace king hand.
Okay.
Um, so he calls.
hmm
The turn is another clean card. It's an offsuit 9.
Okay.
So stay with my poor line. Is I bet again.
So you've got
500.
you have about 1100 left.
Correct.
Or about 1050 left, and the pot's about 940 if I've done the math correctly, right?
Yep. Perfect.
Again, I got to be honest with you. Like, I would probably just, I would
Bet
probably
small.
check. I would probably check here for deception. To be perfectly honest with you, I mean, like I said, I mean, I would find it so hard to. I would probably never take this line, but I'm trying to stay with you, and I'm trying to say like, if you did up to this point take this line, if you think he's floating you, why not just check and then have him bluff at it and then just jam it in? I mean, do you
Right.
think that he's going to continue to call with like ace jack, ace king if you bet out here again? I mean, how often do you see somebody call a limp re-raise, bet and then bet as a bluff or at this point? Now, I was talking about the flop where I might be able to blow you off the hand, but if suddenly you only have a pot size bet left and you bet 40% of the pot, how am I going to blow you off the hand now?
Right. It seems like it's all going in no matter what at this point.
Yeah. So what did you do? How much did you bet?
I bet 500 on the turn.
Yeah, see, like, well, now he
And he's
almost can play his hand entirely perfect. Like, you might get value from tens or jacks, right? He might just stick it in. I mean, if I had jacks, I would probably go call here if I was him.
right.
But if I had aces or kings, I'd go call too. You know what I mean? Like, why would I raise the flop?
Exactly. Because
Yeah,
he's
yeah,
getting it by the river anyway.
yeah.
And river was an off deuce, and I just stuck the rest in, and of course he calls.
So you bet
Um,
500. So hero bets 500 on the turn. V1 calls. So the pot is like 1940 now. And what? You've got 500 left. River's a deuce. And you just put it
550.
in.
Yeah.
Did he have aces or kings?
He had kings.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you were obviously unfortunate that you ran kings into queens, but I think that a lot can be learned from this hand that, you're playing the hand deceptively weak. And then when you change your line around, it becomes a little bit non-linear. And like I said, the flop play was almost accidentally correct. Or if your intention was to bet call, then fine. But why not just check the turn? Like if he has all his hands, forget about the fact that you're going to lose your money anyways. Once you bet the flop, okay, you're going to lose your money against his hand, right? But if he's
Right.
got floated hands,
Why am I trying to fold out ace king there?
yeah, if he's got floated hands that he was going to say, all right, I'm just going to call this guy and then I'm going to put pressure on him, then fine. Then let him do it on the turn with that stack to pot ratio.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay, so of course pre-flop you want to three bet there, but the way
Yeah.
I slow played pre, if I'm going to lead on the flop, then I really do need to check the turn to pick up the floats.
Yeah, and I don't know if I would lead the flop there all that much either. Like I said, just to keep it consistent, you're just trying to play deceptively. You're
And
trying to
just
play
check
deceptively
all three streets.
trappy, you know? Yeah. So,
If it went the other way around, if his bet size was the same as my bet size, which it probably would be because that gets my stack in, you just check call all three streets, right?
you mean if he bet 500 on the turn?
Yeah, I mean, if I check the flop and he bets 275, I
Uh-huh.
call.
Uh-huh.
On the turn, he bets 500, I call. And
Right.
river, call it off, right?
Uh Yeah, or sometimes like if you had like less than a quarter pot size bet, you might just check raise all in on the turn.
Turn.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah. Thanks for the call, Dave.
Okay, thank you.
All
Have
right.
a good one.
Hey guys, if you like what you've seen here, please click on the subscribe button and you'll get notified every time we put up a new video. And if you want to check out crushlivepoker.com for the first month free, use the code YTA100. Click on the link right there.